been watching G-Bear's Homestead in the Desert and Bobby's Solar Homestead, and they encouraged me, well, they didn't encourage me, but they inspired me to get a solar system for this shed. But they had this, it's called Top Solar. I don't know anything about this brand. I didn't see any reviews about this brand, so maybe I'll do a review later after I hook everything up. And it seems to be alright. There were some good reviews on it. You know, always bad reviews too, but it comes with battery cables for whatever batteries you're using, whether it be you know, LiPo, marine battery, car battery, lead acid, whatever. And then it comes with a goodly amount of cable from the what do you call it? From the panels. The charge controller looks a little dinky, but I'm just going to run a few LED light strips in here just to give me lighting at night. And I've got these LED floodlights. I'm going with purely lead acid batteries that I had from cars that, you know, the batteries were starting to not go, but were needing to be replaced. The goal, the plan, the dream is I'm going to mount the controller right there, right here, where it's easy to reach and easy to connect stuff. Probably right up at the top. I've got these bus bars. These were $5 a piece, I think. And yeah, they are the grounding bus bars, but besides the green screws, the regular bus bars were, I think, $4 or $5 more a piece. The way I'm going to mount the bus bars, I'm going to mount one to the panel, and then I'm going to have another, like a 2x4 standoff. So there'll be one over the top, so when the wires come in, you'll see. Anyway, let me get it all wired up, and we'll come back and take a look. Before I forget, one of the nice things about this kit that I found came with these mounting brackets here, and all the hardware. What I'll do is there's some tar tape that people use for roofing that I'm going to put underneath. I'm going to put underneath the feet here, and then so when I go to screw the self-tapping screw in there, it won't leak. Okay, I'm breaking into this video with this video. I noticed that when I was running through the initial hookup of the system here, I had the positive and negative switched from what I wanted it to be. I painted these red for the positive side. I left these green. These are grounding bus bars, and I know I hooked it up backwards because I was just trying to get a functional test. But this is the way I've got it hooked up now. This is the positive side bus bar, so it's hooked up to the positive side of the battery, and this is for the negative side of the battery. I've got the battery ready to put into parallel with the other battery. I don't think there's any charge in this. I think it's depleted, so it may or may not work, but I know this one works. I just took it out of the car, so I'm getting ready to hook up the controller. G-Bear said to always hook the power to the controller first. That way it knows how much power to charge up to. That's why you hook up the negative first, because if you did it wrong, it's not going to wreck anything. There we go. We got power, people. Okay, here we go. I got 12.7 volts. When you hit enter, it puts power to the load, right? But if you hit enter again, the little load light goes off. So I got 12.7 volts. Next one I'm going to do is, just for test sakes, I'm going to hook up the solar panel just to make sure it works and that it charges. And I'm going to cover it and hook it up, and then once everything's hooked up, I'll uncover it to make sure, because G-Bear said don't ever hook up the panels under load. I've seen people do it. I don't know if it's a thing or not, but he has more experience than I do, so I'll take his word for it. Alright, so next Next stop, hooking up the panels. A few of the reviews I read said that they had to cut the wire or something. I didn't quite understand, but once I try to fit these up into this hole here, you have to actually just trim the insulation a little bit. The insulation is a little too big to go up into, let's see the recess in there. It's, the hole's a little tight, so on the red I had to trim some insulation off, and the black I had to trim some insulation off. But you know what? If you're going to do DIY solar, I think you have the capacity to know how to just trim the insulation a little bit. So let me get that hooked up, and then I'll hook up the panel. Alright, panel is up against this cardboard, so it's not under load. Got the black wire for the ground or negative side go in, because it only goes in one way. You can't obviously hook this to this, and you know, so that's the way they set it up, which is nice. So I got that going for me. Here we go. It is got sun on it, so let's look at the charge controller, see what she's doing. All right, she's charging. That was 12.7. So I got the solar light going on there. It's going 13.6 volts. So next, what I got to do is I got to mount it on the roof, and then hook up my LED floodlights here to the outside and to the front. Okay, I'm getting ready to mount the panel on the roof. The way the roof is, it's wavy, so where the peak of those waves are, it's to match both sides. I had to drill the holes a little bit further inwards from the panel to get them to set right on top of those peaks on both sides. And what I'm going to use, got it in here, this is like a roofing tar tape, and it's rubbery on one side, and it's kind of tar, like a tar-like substance, where you peel this off. Pro tip, I've got petroleum jelly, Vaseline, and what I did was I put them on where the screws will go, and I put them underneath these little, I don't know, they're vinyl or plastic washers. You see vinyl or plastic washers there, and what that does, it lets the screw turn without binding on the plastic washer and squeezing it out. Same thing with the bottom. So when you go to drive it down, and you don't drive these down very tight, just to where they're snug, because it's just going into sheet metal. There you go. And yep, she's tight. So that's it for mounting the panel. So far so good. Now I gotta put the wires through. Right here it's kind of sharp, so I'm going to add some extra insulation around the wires here so they don't chafe the wires and cut through them just by, you know, movement or wind or whatever. And then the holes are going to be right here, because I know that's okay to drill the holes there. For the insulation around this this sheet metal, I got some insulation I stripped from a 10-2 wire, and I've got some shrink wrap here, so that's what it looks like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip the shrink wrap over the insulation just so I can move it around and readjust, but not tighten down on it. Yeah, that'll work. That's all there is to it. All right, I'm gonna pull on the wires, the red and the black wire, and tape the inside, and I'll show you how to do that. So here's that tar tape. And I'm just gonna pull it, give a little tension on it. to where I can see the tape on the outside coming through, and then just stick that. This stuff is really sticky. And then wrap it. And that should keep it watertight. And it's underneath the flashing, the roof flashing, so it shouldn't leak too much anyway. And that's what it looks like. That's the light, and these are two from the panel. And they're nice and watertight. Alright, G-Bear said to not hook up your controller while the solar panel is under load. So I just took the box that the panel came in and I covered it, and now I'm going to go hook up the solar panel on the inside. Alright, I drilled holes in the control board here for the solar panel wires to come through, so they make it knob nice and pretty like. So let me connect the negative side first. There we go. And it might get some power, but it's blocked, so it might only draw a few volts. Keep an eye on the controller there. Come on, camera. And I'm going to pull the box off, and you can probably see that voltage pop up. Yep, it was 12.5, now it's 12.8. So that completes the installation of the solar panel and the control box, my bus bars, and my batteries. So I'll do a wrap up here in a second. Okay, so this is several weeks later after I made the original installation video, but this is the basic setup. Charge control there, bus bars. I've got wires going to two batteries hooked in parallel, and it's been working great. Batteries have had plenty of power. I've actually run this inverter to power my DeWalt drill batteries, and even have a battery powered circular saw battery charger running my radio, and I've got LED light bars that I'll show later. But let's take a look at the motion lights that I put up, and I will put a link to a video where I showed these working. So I got a motion light LED there, and my other motion light LED there, and that's where the panel sits, and it gets plenty of sunlight. Even right now it's kind of overcast, but it's still charging. So that's the top solar panel kit, and yeah, works pretty good.